Episode 19 of the Unnamed Show. Special guests.
Good news and bad news for the Raiders.
And the KISS concert is canceled.
Dunzo.
And we are here for the Unnamed Show.
But super excited, jumped out, running all over the house.
Anything Vegas, pretty much.
Everything Vegas. I don't know if that's the case.
Oh, you
And
gotta
they're like hanging out,
see what
doing
happens.
nothing. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode 19 of the Unnamed Show. What's going on, Jack?
How's it going, Brendan?
I think we've got some special guests
we
today.
do.
We've got the Kotler family. What's going on? We have Ashley and Justin Kotler from the Underdogs Athletics and Beck, Bode. So, nice little short story. I got a call from one of my buddies, Elrod, who's one of your athletes that was competing. I don't think, is he? No, he's back at Cirque now.
Yeah.
So a Cirque buddy. He said, hey, I've got a CrossFit guy.
CrossFit guy.
And I heard,
that's good.
Then he explained a little farther, and literally one of the best CrossFit coaches in the country, if not the world, and got the opportunity to meet Justin. And you guys lived in Astoria, Queens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So my wife and like 80 of our friends lived in Astoria, Queens.
It's crazy.
My one brother lived in Astoria, Queens. My other brother lived in Astoria, Queens. Milk Flour, have you ever eaten there?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it was probably around the corner from wherever you lived.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that is the greatest place in the world for Greek food.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so good.
Like,
some will say even including Greece.
yeah. Like literally, if you live in Astoria, you're one of the few people who know what tzatziki sauce is or how to properly
Tzatziki?
actually say gyro, is it?
Oh, yeah.
I always grew up saying gyro, and then
Yeah.
all my New York friends were
I'm getting very hungry over here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Like, you've been to Astoria, right? Or
Oh,
no?
yeah.
Like literally, it's like Greek town, but it's changed a little bit. Like it's changed a bit over the years. So tell me a little bit about your story, because I think it's pretty cool. Because you guys moved here during COVID, but let's like rewind. Because when I met you the one day, you literally got off the plane.
Yeah.
We met at a house we'd never met before.
Yeah.
We had a friend in common who's an awesome guy who was nice enough to meet, like help us connect. And you told me your story, and I was blown away. Like, tell me a little bit about what was going on and where you guys were at that point.
Yeah. So she likes to say, and I'll let Ash say it because she's awesome at telling the story about how everything kind of happened. But we had our son, our business was shut down, and the pandemic hit all in the same week in March of last year.
Yeah. In Astoria, Queens.
In Astoria.
So not in like Podunk,
No.
such and such. I don't want to insult a state,
this was
but
the week that they were bringing in emergency room tents and setting them up in Central Park. This was the week that they were bringing in the ship because of all of the overflow. They were bringing in cold trucks.
Yeah.
yeah, I
haul out.
remember you telling me this.
It was
and
terrifying.
being like, we had our perspective here, of course, but I think hearing your perspective was like a whole other level. Like, obviously, at this point, I think the casinos were shut down here, which is still crazy.
It's wild.
But then the trucks and the ship and all this stuff and
And going to the grocery store, like the morning, I didn't know I was giving birth that day, but the morning that I gave birth, I woke up at 5 a.m. to go to the grocery store just because I was like, you have a million things running through your head. What if they lock me and the baby down in the hospital and no one at home has freezer food? We have a 4-year-old daughter.
You just had your little one at this point.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I had
forgot
gotten
about
up,
that.
went to the grocery store, ready to pop, literally ready to pop. And I walked in, I waited in line. I was the 13th person in line, walked in, and there was nothing.
I remember this even here.
Nothing.
Amy
It
and I
was-
took photos of aisles, and I can't imagine in New
Yeah.
York City, like, because
Yeah.
New York is just.
I mean, people do that generally like when there's a snowstorm coming.
Oh, yeah.
This was next level. It was crazy.
So you had even nothing to buy, even if you wanted to.
Yeah. I think I found like a 13 or 14 pound huge hunk of meat. And I was like, I guess we can thaw this out and put salt and pepper on it. if
Like,
we need to.
well, I remember we're not ramen people, and I was like back to college. Amy bought
yeah.
this giant box of ramen, and I was like, "Thank you." I was like, "I guess what else are we gonna buy?"
But it was wild because we were really wondering what we were going to do. Our gym was shut down. Our business was shut down. You know, it was essentially our main source of
was our
income.
100% off.
And we were joking around one day, and I think I might have just been chatting with Elrod about, you know, just what's going on here. And he was asking about New York. And I think on a whim, he was just like, oh, you should move to Vegas. You know, things are pretty cool here.
Here's the thing we've seen a lot is we've had people leave here and come back, and Elrod was one of them, because they see how easy Vegas is as a city. Yeah. And they had gone down to Orlando, and they came back, and we had other friends in common that came back. And I think he's a fan. Like, he's officially a fan of here. But when they left, you know, it was for a change only to come back. Like, so all of us who are here from other places are like, Vegas, come to Vegas. Like,
it's the best. And it was cool because when I came here and met with you, I think we looked at like 12 houses in about 12 hours.
Yeah, you were awesome. Like, I knew you were a CrossFit guy because you're like, next, go, next.
And then when I told her, I mean, amazingly enough, I don't know why she trusted me, but she did. But sight unseen, we, you know, a month later, right?
But it was a pretty, she grilled you on the FaceTime. She did,
but it was pretty awesome. And then, of course, we went with the one she liked the most, you know.
Yeah. So. Although it did not have an ice maker out of the refrigerator door.
Right.
I'm still mad at you about that, Brian.
You should be. Actually, you should be. That was one of your like must-haves. You know, the must-haves, but kind of considering it was a must-have.
Yeah. Well, I had moved out to New York originally, sight unseen. Yeah. I didn't know there was life outside of Times Square, and here I didn't know that there was life outside of the Strip, but it's been a very pleasant surprise.
And your store...
Gorgeous.
Yeah, this is you guys out. So Red Rocks was one of the things I fell in love with too, that got me out here, and being from New Jersey, commuting to New York City, having our first kid, we were in a similar situation. But when you see like how close nature is, like you were saying, you have workouts now in Mount Charleston. Like, how can you do that in a store? Oh, Central Park's pretty nice, but it's not easy to get to.
It's not the same.
Like, you're going to spend 3 hours getting to like. Sometimes it could take you that long by the time you get there.
Well, and the elevation and there isn't as high of mountains and terrain and all that kind of stuff either.
Yeah. That blew me away moving here is the terrain elevation difference. Like, you could drive 45 minutes and be in snow and then come down and swim in a pool the same day. Like, what? But yeah, so you guys literally pulled the trigger and just moved. Yeah. Right? Like, pretty much it was a matter of, are we going to do this? Yes, we're going to do it. And then you did it. And now that you look back, like, what do you guys think of the move?
Honestly, it's turned out to be an unbelievable decision. We first of all, we love it here, and we love it with our we have a 4-year-old and a 19-month-old now, and the ability to be able to be outside year round, the cost of living, our house,
and even when it's 110, I think people from out of state hear it's so hot. But
it's a dry heat, Brendan. It's a dry heat.
No, but you know what? That is true because 85 or 90 in New York with 80% humidity feels worse.
You know what I mean? Totally.
Yeah. And you get hit when you make that turn into like one of where the wind's coming down.
Yep.
If you've ever lived there, winter you get hit with cold. Summer you get hit with like smells that you don't want to smell.
It's the difference between a sauna and a steam room.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's kind of.
And then listen, it's not to say we didn't love New York, right? But I just think once we got out here and saw what Vegas had to offer, I mean, and then just with everything that we've been doing as far as, fitness and starting an online fitness brand and the stuff that Ash is doing financially. And, it really has been just this kind of like the snowball started and then it just hasn't stopped.
And rewinding, awesome. So your gym in Astoria, you still have the gym out there, right?
We do. It was shut down for 8 months.
So 8 months at that time.
Yeah. It's Dynamics Fitness, CrossFit Dynamics.
Which what motivated the move was because 100% of our income came from there. We knew the longer we stayed there without knowing how long we'd be shut down for, we would just burn right through our savings. Yeah. So at least if we knew we moved to somewhere that had a lower cost of living, that at least push comes to shove, if nothing happens immediately, that we could live off of our savings for a longer period of time.
And you guys were smart enough to have the business and have a savings because you were kind of planning on bigger things too, like to do different businesses, which in a city like Astoria or in New York City, I should say,
it's hard to get ahead.
It's hard to do. So kudos to you guys to even be able to do that.
Thanks.
But then I know you came here and you jumped around. Finding space is not easy. Ever since the pandemic, you'd assume it's easy to find good space in Vegas. But other than space, you guys have built a few businesses. Tell me a little bit about both your businesses.
It's kind of funny because when we first got here, there were like several brainstorming sessions where we would just sit down and talk about, okay, what's possible, like what we can do. And, you know, one of them was the idea of creating an online, you know, fitness brand essentially. So we've been in the CrossFit space a long time, and I've had the pleasure of coaching really high level CrossFit athletes for the past 12 years. And so we had the opportunity to, when we moved out here, one of the top female CrossFitters in the world, Carrie Pierce, moved out here
who's
with
also,
us.
by the way, one of the nicest people on the planet.
Nicest.
Yeah,
She's got
awesome.
8 abs, not 6.
Yeah, sure.
She really
Abs have
does.
abs.
She showed up to you were nice enough to refer her to us, and we helped her find a rental. And I think she came in like a half top that day. I was like, I've never seen 8 abs before.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's
Do
pretty
you think she'll
incredible.
lend me two?
So Carrie moved with us, and, you know, make a long story short, all of a sudden it was kind of the great migration. All these athletes started coming to Vegas to work with us. And so we started this online brand, this competitive brand called Underdogs Athletics. And, you know, we offer template programming and individual programming to competitors all around the world. And it's really taken off. And so from there, you know, it's been this amazing thing. And now we're going to have the opportunity to actually open, an actual facility, brick and mortar, after looking for that long. But the online brand has really afforded us the ability to be able to kind of take our time finding the right place, which I think now we found. But
even in
it's been
Vegas,
amazing.
if you don't mind me like even cutting in a little bit, just for the fact that you can do that here.
Yes.
If you were in Astoria and I up and
Yeah.
moved you from Vegas to Astoria, would you be able to just like chill out in Chicago, like for you too, like, and then just be like, oh, I'll take my time and find a place?
Yeah, no.
Like,
No.
you just can't do that.
No.
Like in Vegas, you kind of have that freedom where you do have the ability a little bit with the cost of living to actually do that.
Absolutely.
And really and truly, the difficulty around the second wave in not finding a location actually was a
big
blessing in disguise
delta.
because it forced us to launch the online programming, you know? And so
that's the same
really,
time, right?
Yeah.
For you, like when Delta hit was kind of when you guys dropped the online program.
Yeah.
Yep. So it really kind of snowballed and ended up being initially a really stressful thing, but it ended up turning into a big blessing in disguise.
Yeah, and we've checked out the website, and just knowing how dialed in you guys like are in general, you guys are pretty dialed in. Like when it comes to programming, I'm sure you're just insanely on it. Like
It's a good thing we don't have a hidden camera at home, though.
Whoa,
For the
come on, we all
amount
know
of
that.
times we get
My wife's
screamed
got a
at
business next door.
children.
I have a business. There's times where I'm sure you've had 17,000 things on the table and you're like, none of this works. I don't get it. And then eventually it sort of starts to make some sense. Like you clear, like the fog clears from the storm and you're like, okay, this is starting to make
focus.
sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's been so it's good. I think we make a really good team because I'm more of the dreamer, and I'll throw a million ideas out, and she'll rein us back in, right, and be like, okay, this is feasible, this is feasible, this is feasible.
It's like having a gym on top of Mount Kilimanjaro is not
Yeah,
possible.
right,
And
exactly.
you're like, come on, it could work, it'd be cool.
Yeah. So that's been great, and really and truly, it's been a really nice progression. And we started really smartly. I feel like we didn't go too big too fast, and now it's really starting to take off, and the brand has become really one of the most recognizable in CrossFit now, and we have some of the best athletes in the world, that are kind of under our umbrella essentially. But yeah, it's been amazing how it's happened, and I'm really excited now to be able to bring like headquarters to Vegas. Like that's because
us too. I love to hear this.
Yeah.
Like when someone takes a business, uproots it, and then like places it in Vegas as the place where now you have a centralized headquarters. It's an easy place to get in and out.
Oh man,
Like if someone wants to fly from Berlin today, they can fly in from Berlin and coach with you for a day, or go to a workshop, a 2-day, 3-day workshop where you're going to have the best athletes, the best programming, the best people there, nutritionists. You threw some ideas at me that you said you're working on where you're going to have some spaces for like physical therapists and trainers. Like that's awesome. Like
It's awesome.
that's very much like our art space in the past, where you're creating a place for people to flourish in something that all these people love together in a city that's easy to get to.
And in a city that's, you know, one of the greatest destinations in the world, right? I mean, people want to come
And they can go
here.
have fun at night.
Of course.
It may be a mock-teeny if there's like an event coming up. But it's like,
And they can do it year round. You know, I mean, that's another thing. You go to New York and, you know, 4 or 5 months out of the year, you're dealing with 30-degree weather and snow and sleet and this. You come here and it's like this every single day.
It really is.
It's
Like
just
the sun does.
Another reason why we moved.
Yeah, exactly. Chicago or New Jersey. I used to laugh because we'd have a storm come in. It'd be 14 days straight of rain. And I'm like, is this serious right now? But like, if I was an elite athlete, where would I go to sign up or have the opportunity to work with you? Because I know you don't just work with like Joe Schmo. Like, it's got to be somebody who's got some skills. But how do they?
So I couldn't sign
reach
up
out
then.
to you.
I couldn't sign up.
Come on, Jack. You could come, man. So, underdogsathletics.com. And then they can find us on Instagram, Underdogs Athletics.
Because unlike us, who lost our Instagram page, yours is still
Ours
around.
is still running.
Yeah.
I think it was my fault.
We're going to
I
knock
still
on
think
wood
that's
on
my
that.
fault.
We
Still
can't.
Jack's
We don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
I told Jax Jack mentioned the Bears too many times.
Yeah, and so they shut me down, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like Green Bay or the Bears, and my account would be gone. No offense.
So that's where you can find us, and you know, we just got a ton of big things planned. We just launched a couple new programs, and for the new year, we've got more programs coming, and you know, the CrossFit season starts in January, so it's a good time for people to jump on board.
No, it's exciting, and honestly, watching you guys go through your progression of coming here and working on all this, like I'm super happy for you guys. Like I kind of, you could see it was inevitable just from dreams and the way you guys work in general, but it's cool to see it come to fruition. And now you have your space. So you have, like, is this name official? Can we announce it yet or no?
Yeah. So officially the name of the facility will be the Work District.
Cool.
And it'll be the home of Underdogs Athletics headquarters. And so it's going to be, and I'm sure we'll, you know, some more businesses, some more people will gravitate there, because really it's going to be a big enough facility to home, you know, a few different things. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And then of course you guys move here and you just don't start one business, you start two.
Tell us about Beck Bode.
Yeah, like
Beck Bode. So again, you know, 6 days, 2 kids, 2 cars, driving across the country, which in the grand scheme of everything, I think probably was the easiest part of this entire before, middle, and after.
It's easy to move out of a New York place because it's so small.
Yeah.
To come to Vegas. You move your stuff in, you're like, oh, I have to buy more
More furniture. More
stuff.
stuff.
Build
So
a
at least
house.
that's what happened to us.
I don't know. I think we accumulate too many toys, so I'm kind of happy there's a toy shortage going on right now. So when we moved, again, you know, it's just it's talking to your friends, talking to people that you trust, and we had some investments in New York, and we just started talking to one of our friends more because Carrie's business, her Power Abs business, started growing.
And she's
so we
killing
were,
it. Yeah.
Yeah, she is, and we all kind of, again, we're a huge family, so we just always try to help everyone the best ways that we can. So we started talking to one of our good friends, and he was like, if you want a little bit more guidance when it comes to your investments and your financial future. And we were like, yeah, definitely, because obviously this whole thing was pulling the floor out of under our feet. So we started talking, and he linked us up with this company called Beck Bode. And they sent us a book. He and I both read it, and we kind of got hooked. And this book literally explains their strategy to the T of how they invest, why they invest. And they
like,
sat
don't
with
just
us.
slap your money in a checking account. It's much more in depth.
Right. It's like, what are your goals? What are your short-term goals? What are your long-term goals? And we actually had someone sit with us, never talked about how many dollars and cents are in your bank account. It's just, where are you at? What are your short-term goals and your long-term goals? Okay, now let's look at what you have, and let's try to shuffle things around, and let's make it work for you, make your money work for you. So it was the first time that someone actually kind of like set things in motion. And one of the owners, well, both of the owners are incredibly, big into the fitness world. They both played collegiate sports. One of them played professionally baseball for a while. So family, fitness, finances have always been like a big thing in their lives. They've always wanted to help people, our goals aligned. And so during the transition of us putting our money in with Beck Bode and kind of coming up with a great financial plan for our family, they were like, hey, you know what? Your story's great to tell. You know, they're like, we would love to get into more of like the fitness world, you know.
And when you're from an arts or fitness world, if you go to school for sports or you go to school for arts, how many financial classes does a person take?
I mean, none.
Zero?
None.
You know what I mean? Like, who
None.
are our worst friends
None.
with finances? It's our artists and athlete friends.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And they need the most help with it.
and they're the most like when it comes to like passionate about things they do, they're all in, but they really don't know what the heck's in their account on a daily basis.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also like when they do hit like a big break where you've got a huge sum of money coming in, it's like, what
Enrolls
do
the
I do?
Lamborghini.
Right.
That's a lot of times.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. What do you do with it? What do
Yeah.
you smartly do with it? And it's you know, when you're younger, it's good to start when you're younger because again, you never know what
Compound
life
interest
is.
and things
Exactly,
like that. Yeah.
exactly. So in a nutshell, they were, you know, with their company, they had said, you know, listen, we're headquartered in Boston. We would love to expand to the West Coast and have a Vegas office. So I've slowly started working with the company, learning more about the financials. I'm not a financial advisor. I won't be a financial advisor. But really and truly, I'm just trying to help grow and expand their company through ways and methods that we've always tried to help people. You know, our method with dynamics, and I believe the reason why it was always so successful, which led him to his whole entire, you know, athlete, was, you know, our motto was change your fitness, change your life. And it's true. Like, we've always created an atmosphere for our athletes to be loving and doing the best thing for them, both inside the gym and outside. Like, you know, we have them over for barbecues or someone has a bad day and it's, you know, like that's just who we are. And when we spoke with Beck Bode, there, you know, our goals aligned. They're very similar people. They just want to help. There's a lot of bad people in the financial world that does bad things with people's money.
Unfortunately, see somebody have a windfall and put it in places that makes them more money, not necessarily
Right.
the client
Right.
themselves. Yeah.
So I'm here in Vegas.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I was there. When I was younger, I had a great opportunity. I had a financial advisor completely abuse it and do the one investment that made him more money than it even made me.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have used Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, I mean, so anyway, I'm here out in Vegas, kind of, you know, just talking and trying to help people. I started running a monthly podcast with them, a webinar, Are You Financially Fit? Which just kind of blends the worlds of, you know, talking about their strategies in their lives and essentially equating it to fitness, right? You got to start with the foundations. You start step 1, step 2, step 3. And for me, like, finances have always been really overwhelming, but also really important. And it's hard to know what questions to ask in a world you don't know much about. It's hard to know where to start. And so I feel like I'm
And I think athletes and artists are assuming that the person doesn't have their best interests
Yeah.
right up front immediately.
Right.
Like, yeah.
So it's just really, you know, cultivating a trusting process and kind of really helping to educate the people, whether they invest with Beck Bode or not. It's just important to educate people the right way, to ask the right questions, to understand that there is an easy process to getting, you know, your money to work for you in the future.
Yeah, and then I like your fitness blend because for the fact that, like we talked about, it's not something people are taught. Like when you're a great athlete,
Right.
hey Johnny, you're going to be an amazing athlete. You're going to go to college. You're going to be a star. But they're not like, oh yeah, and by the way, you're going to get thrown $500,000 or $600,000 or $100,000. It doesn't have to be millions like some of these athletes, but they don't know how to deal with that. That's like a whole other level. And it's cool that you in a starting point where you're kind of facilitating this in a place where you have athletes and they're not aware of these types of things. And of course other people too, not just athletes.
Not just athletes.
But I like your blend of that. Like
Yeah, and
financially fit. Like,
and I like meeting with people and financial advisors and learning more about this world too, you know. But it's really kind of, since our move here and reevaluating everything that we did, you know, our motto went from change your fitness, change your life, and now we've started change your finances and change your future, which is really true, because with the way that in which we've organized now the businesses that we've started since we've been here, we can really see a positive uptick and upswing and know what financial goals we want to hit so that we can buy a house.
So we shouldn't all drop it in Bitcoin right now.
Oh, yeah.
But Underdogs Athletics is looking for investors. No, it's amazing. Like, it's cool to see this progression for you and for both of you guys. And either way, like, if somebody were to reach out to you with Beck Bode, what's the best way for somebody to do that?
Again, Instagram.
Yep.
Ashley C. 𝐶𝐲𝐻𝑡𝑙𝑒𝑟 is my Instagram handle. You can go online, Beck Bode. They obviously,
I love that leopard shot.
Yeah,
That's
it's great.
awesome. Yeah.
It's great. The first thing I would suggest is on the website or even on my Instagram, there's a way that you can sign up to get the free book, which explains their entire strategy.
Dancing with the Analysts.
Dancing with the Analysts is the name of the book.
Oh, cool.
You can sign up and get a free book, or if you're in Vegas, I'll drop one off for you. And it's just, for me, it was a really great way to kind of learn the basis of how the market works and why they do what they do. And I just like talking to people about it, how it affects them or how it doesn't, or how they like the book.
Well, even only being a business owner, when you see it from, I've owned other businesses in the past, but I don't think my mind was there yet. And now I understand that I've been through coaching and things like that, even financial coaching and coaching for real estate. When you have that vision of it, your vision changes too for your own business.
Yep.
It's no longer like get them in and just make them better, and it's all going to get better. Like, when you have the idea of, okay, this and this and this goes here and this goes there, you kind of understand where you're gonna be.
Much better strategy.
Nice. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is a good strategy.
Yeah.
And you can never allow yourself to stop learning, in any capacity.
Yeah, that's kind of your energy for both of you. Like the day you jumped off the plane, like I said, I could tell that was kind of the infectious energy you guys have.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of, I don't think you know any better.
Cool.
Like, I think we could drop you in the middle of like the North Pole and you'd probably figure it out. Suddenly the
She
polar
would,
bears,
I think.
polar bears
she
are like
would.
this. They're like
Yeah. I just follow her lead.
the fittest polar bears in the world.
I grew up in Wisconsin. That was close enough to the North Pole.
Yeah, and there's a reason why we all live in Vegas.
Go
now.
Packers.
But yeah,
Oh.
gosh, she got that in. She got
Everybody heard
in.
that, right? That's why we're split between Brendan. We can't sit next to each other.
Our record is enough of a split.
I've got the Midwest battle right here. Yeah, that's a good point. Speaking of football, so awesome to hear your story. We'll have all the links for everything for you guys, and if you're interested, please reach out. Absolutely. And speaking of football, not on a good note, but we're going to go into a little bit of local news. Henry Ruggs jailed on a DUI charge. This is awful.
Awful.
I don't know that I want to state my opinion because it's not a good one.
It's just, it's awful.
It's awful.
It's pretty idiotic. It's awful.
He's released by the team, and like, his career's over.
Over.
I mean,
it's over.
His career's over. And the people's lives he took, their lives are over.
Yeah.
It's insane.
No, it's awful.
It's horrible.
And we have Uber and Lyft. Like, we didn't have Uber and Lyft forever. I know his car is beautiful and whatever. We could talk about that for days and days, but it's just awful. But 156 miles an hour, I don't know.
That's just insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I get nervous. I'm a wimp when it comes to cars. At 100 miles, I'm like, oh, my car's shaking in a weird way. Like, I'd rather run fast than have a car at 100 miles an hour.
Bad
It's
news.
terrifying.
Yeah.
And I also think, but I think it's a great, well, I should say not great, and nothing about it is great, but what happened, especially when you think about like 21, 22-year-old athletes, the fact that, you just can't do that. And the NFL now gives you the opportunity. I think they have a service that you can actually call. But it's one of those things where as an athlete, they have a service you can call. They'll come and pick you up. If you're
which none of
been
us
drinking.
Have.
No. No.
Like, it's probably literally like push one on your phone and we'll come get you.
Right.
I know
Like,
they've tried really hard,
Yeah.
to prevent things like this from happening, but and it happens, and it's just one of those things where you just hope. And then as parents, right?
No,
you think about.
I've got two daughters.
terrifying.
You've got two kids.
Yeah.
Like it's
terrifying.
completely terrifying.
No, it is.
And 156 miles
That's
an hour at
crazy.
3 a.m.
While drinking. Double the legal limit.
No one needs to be anywhere that fast at 3 a.m. Like, If you're late for practice, maybe, but even then, like,
I don't think he was going to practice at 3.
no, yeah. It's so. Yeah, either way, this news is horrible, and who knows?
That was the bad news.
That was the bad news. So we
The
said
good
good
news-
and bad news for
the
the
good
Raiders.
news is for the Raiders coming off a bye week, they play the Giants.
Yes. And being from New Jersey and growing up a Giants fan, you know, I look up and I saw the oven. I was like, are we selling ovens now? But so yeah, they are playing the Giants this weekend. This will be
In New York,
easy.
but
This is
they
gonna be
should
easy.
win. Coming off a bye, they're healthy.
Like
they're
we've said
ready to
every
go.
week, if you live in New York right now, New York football is pretty atrocious.
It is.
But the Jets
They
won.
just beat Cincinnati.
Jets won.
That's his team. That's David's team.
That's a big win. Cincinnati's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Jets somehow pulled off a win, but I think this will be an easy one for the Raiders.
It's like one bad thing after another, but they got
But
it together.
somehow they've
5-2.
done better the more things thrown at them. So maybe
sitting on top
this
of
is
the
a good
AFC
sign
West.
for them.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
Carr's playing great.
Yeah,
oh
he's
yeah. And you know what? I think they're gonna win. So I grew up a Giants fan. I have no choice now. My kids are born in Vegas. Well, one's a Jersey girl. I'm rooting for the Raiders for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, I have to say it. Sorry, family. But go Raiders.
Go Raiders. Other sports news, huge news this morning. It's actually happened. Blockbuster trade. The Knights have acquired Jack Eichel from the Buffalo Sabres, who is young and a stud.
I don't know much about him. What's the deal with this guy?
He's a stud. He's
he?
a center. He's a stud. He scores. He's always in plays. He's amazing.
Are you guys hockey fans?
not really.
So I watched hockey as a kid.
Yeah.
Completely lost touch with hockey, but living here with the Golden Knights
I know,
being
it
launched,
seems
I think
massively
and seeing like
huge.
literally 80-year-old ladies with like Golden Knights
So cool.
tattoos in the supermarket
And all the sparkly gold jackets that they wear.
it's,
I'm a native Floridian. Grew up in Miami, so hockey was
not your thing.
Not a big thing. No.
Like we had a good hockey team in high school, so we'd go watch our buddies. But I lost touch with it. But being from now Vegas, it's pretty hard not to be a fan.
Pretty hard not to be a fan.
And it was like, let's go on now. What's going on with this? A's, what do you think? Yes.
So,
no, maybe,
rumor has
possibly?
it, I still think it's a very big possibility that the A's are going to be here in Las Vegas. They're looking at spots again. One of them is actually the Las Vegas Fairgrounds. This is right on the Boulevard and right across from the Sahara,
Sick spot.
which would be
that'd be awesome.
amazing. Right there, it'd be great.
And you could walk to any game. Like that's kind of like actually Denver. Denver's very similar. If you've ever been to Denver, all the sports teams are all on the same street, so you can go to the same bar for a football game, baseball game, whatever. So fingers crossed.
If they come, great. If not, let's get an expansion team.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But we were talking about it before. How is the NBA or
Yeah.
baseball not here yet?
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Come
Has
on.
to.
Like
Has to.
every other team wants to come see their team here.
Yes.
Like anybody from Wisconsin, they want to go get the heck out of there. When it's
I mean, I would think so.
20 degrees and the Packers are down south. You're going to get the heck out. I always see people in the stands and they don't have a roof.
no.
Like it's got to be the coldest field in all of football.
Yeah, I took him to a game.
It was
on
snowing.
on
Yeah.
New Year's
Oh,
Day.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, it was so cold.
But
You lose
diehard fans.
your finger feeling at about the third quarter.
Yeah, you
Your
gotta
ability to talk,
constantly
like
move
your
your toes,
mouth
constantly move your
frozen.
fingers, just so
Yep.
circulation.
So A's, get your butts over here. If not, let's start a new team.
start a new
Jack's
team.
going to start a new team.
Yeah.
Call it the Jacks.
Oh,
So we do have some listings just launched. Monarch Bay, which we've already got a few offers on, 1.2 million. Awesome client of ours. Bachelor, he actually felt the house was too big, moved out. And so this is actually like a really well-kept home. He hasn't been there for a few years. He's living in an apartment now. So the only reason I mention that is it's immaculate. So already a few offers, but that one's actually, how many square feet is it? We don't have it here.
4,088, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Oh,
So
4,008.
4,008 square feet, awesome home, huge lot, Desert Shores across from the restaurants and the beach. The beach entry is right across the street. Another one we have, what do we have here,
New
Jack?
listing, 5703 Mesa Mountain Drive. Just came on the market in the Amato neighborhood of South Summerlin.
And we've sold this same floor plan, I think, 5 times
At least,
in
yes.
the last What's that, Denise? She's yelling. Open
Oh,
house.
yeah,
Well,
we're getting there, we're getting there.
We got Denise yelling in the background.
So Denise is going to be there for an open house this
Yeah,
Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3.
Beautiful home, really well kept. Honestly, it sits. This is an unusual lot because the lot actually sits up against conservation land. This is never going to be built. The only other locations that have the same actual lot are like $1 million plus, $1.5 million, $1.4 million in Red Rock or Ridges. You got the Golden Knights hockey rink
look at
there.
that.
Like it's not a rink, a sport court.
There's no ice rink out there.
No, there's no ice rink. Yeah, that'll be melted in 5 minutes. So Amato, this is actually my neighborhood. It's in the Mesas, community pool. So if you're not ready for that pool yet, you have a great option to walk 3 blocks down, go to the community pool. They have insane Halloween, which we just went through the other day. It's 2 days of Halloween. And there's fire pits and adult drinks and haunted houses and all that kind of stuff. Cool. But they do a lot of community events, food trucks and things like that. So awesome home. Denise is the one to call. She's going to be there this weekend, actually, for an open house. Can you go back to that real quick, David? So she'll be there for the open house this weekend. So Saturday and Sunday, November 6th and 7th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Awesome home. Go see Denise this weekend.
Go see Denise.
So what are we giving away this weekend, Denise? We're going to have on Saturday loaf of French bread, right? Yeah. So so this is kind of cool. It's good to know.
We should go get
There's
some bread.
there's a French chef across the street. So because of COVID, this is another good COVID story. I want to get them on. They started an entire bakery in their garage, and he's a Michelin star pastry chef.
Oh, wow.
They're legit.
It's so good.
Legit.
that's
so
so
anytime,
amazing.
We need to go
anytime
get some bread this
I'll
weekend.
send. We'll
Now
send
I'm
you
really
the,
hungry.
the Instagram. It's amazing.
Cool.
And anytime we have an open house, we give away like French bread and stuff like that. It's awesome. Cool. So good. So speaking of any home in Vegas right now,
Let's
if you
chat.
own a home, it's not worth what it was last year. That's for sure. So current Las Vegas home prices have skyrocketed several times this year. We're currently up. What is it?
23.8%.
0.8%, which if you're in the investment space, that's a good return on your money.
It's a great return.
So it's kind of insane. 23.8 compared with 19.8 nationally. So Vegas is a little higher than most of the rest of the country. But Florida, Texas, Boise, Idaho, there's a whole bunch of pockets that are seeing the same kind of inflation, or I should say increase in price. But Boise is the top.
It's like
I think,
hot.
right now.
It's hot. Boise's hot.
It's like an island more than we are.
Seriously.
But they're even higher. So if you're going to be a renter right now, what's the deal with that, Jack?
Oh my God! So you are paying hundreds in application fees. So
I think it's a little shisty.
It's
Really
insane.
shiesty.
So you got your $75 to $100 application fee, and these people are just sitting on them, waiting till they get them
So
all.
you
and
put
then-
an application.
Right.
I put an application. Ashley puts an application. Justin puts one in. David puts one in. Denise puts one in. And then they pick how many people.
One.
So what do they do with the application fees?
Keep it.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
So
messed
it's
up.
pretty
Which
crazy.
In New York, I don't think they can do,
No.
or
I
California.
don't think so.
It's
But-
pretty crazy.
Somehow they get away with it here. I don't see how that's the case. But for now, that's what it is. And there's fury. They use the word fury. And I
yeah.
agree, though. You know, some of these people, rents are up like 25, 30%.
Yeah.
And then-
They were saying, for just a one bedroom, they're like average is like $1,800 now,
Yeah.
which is crazy for here.
For a one bedroom and two
For one
beds
bedroom.
for $2,000. They got a rental house 16 months ago. Has it been 12 months? Where are we?
Yeah, about
July.
15 months.
Yeah, for 2,000, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now you'd have a 2-bedroom apartment. Could you imagine?
That's crazy.
Two
What, this sounds like we're going back to New York. What's going on?
Yeah.
I am like from back.
Don't say that. Don't say that. You said that out loud. Don't say that. So obviously, it's ridiculous. But there's nothing we can do about it right now unless they change the rules or make people stop.
Yeah, and the costs just add up. If you keep missing out, you keep getting another $100, another $100. Next thing you know, you're thousands of dollars in without even
Which is
getting a
why
place.
you need an agent who's actually going to speak to the agent and make sure that they put in what they need and get it done. Because a lot of times the agents just say, oh, yeah, put it in yourself. and then they leave you high and dry.
Right.
So 3 things a real estate agent says you'll regret in 5 years. So these are kind of interesting. I'd love your take on this. So low quality materials that look fabulous. So MDF, IKEA. I don't know. I kind of like IKEA furniture still. You know what? For our kids, I like.
Takes forever to put
our
together.
kids,
Yeah, for
they
kids
grow out
stuff,
of
it's
things.
great. Yeah.
Like everything we buy, they're gonna like 2 years from now. It's negligent. But low quality materials that look fabulous. That's actually really big right now, thanks to Pinterest and things like that.
HGTV.
Envy. People envy things that people have, and they try to create the same thing. Painted brick. I don't know. I like it. So that's another one. You don't like it?
No.
You like painted
I like-
brick?
I
It
like
reminds me of the city.
I like regular exposed brick.
I like it
real
because sometimes, like, depending on the colors of the house and the color of the brick, it kind of makes the house look dated.
Yeah.
If
Oh
it's
yeah.
not-
The darker
Yeah,
tones.
if it's not a
Yeah.
little bit brighter.
But like the whitewash look,
I
actually
like
don't
it.
like it
mind
too.
I like it.
We did it on our house. We had a colonial house in New Jersey. We
Oh,
did it.
yeah.
I liked it. But
Nice.
hey, I guess I'm dated now. Barn doors. This has been a trend for 10 years,
Yeah.
8 years.
Barn doors were cool.
And so what they were saying in this article is the reason why it ends up being a bad idea. Say you have an office, you're running Underdogs in the office, and you've got a barn door. There's no soundproofing. It all gets around the sides.
I can
And
see that.
people build movie rooms with these and all that. And if you want to lock your kids in a room, it's a bad door.
So aesthetically, it looks nice, but it's not really functional.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it swings out. Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
functional.
there we go.
So food wise,
Tell us about the first new restaurant in the West Side, Brendan.
before I even mention this, what's your take on Vegas food?
I honestly very pleasantly surprised since
Yeah.
we've been here.
Yeah, 'cause
coming from New York.
What do you hear all the time when you live in New York?
Well, this
Best food ever.
Yeah, you can't get food like this anywhere else.
Best water, best pizza,
Yeah.
best
I mean,
bagel.
bagels. There are there's no
bagels.
bagels here.
My wife
sad.
had an apartment on 108 and Broadway when we were dating, and there was a bagel shop right downstairs. And when she moved to 13th, I was like, as long as there's a bagel shop right downstairs on the new place, we are like, yes.
But other than that, we've been unbelievably pleasantly surprised.
Yep.
Yeah, especially like we have a couple spots close to us, Italian food, which New York, historically really known for it, and it's honestly like just as good.
Have you been Mastrioni's?
Yes,
Yeah.
Great, right?
phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one of the ones
Piccata,
we're talking
chicken
about.
piccata
So
there,
good.
so good.
Shrimp
Yeah.
scampi there is amazing.
I haven't tried that.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm on to that next. So what we always talk about food. So every single week, literally, it feels like we're launching like 4 more restaurants. So on the west side, there's La Cruda by El Campa. So it's a sister restaurant to Birria El Campa. My Spanish is not good. So this is going to be on Valley View Boulevard, which is over kind of near Chinatown. But yeah, food looks amazing. Honestly, every week this just makes me hungry. So what's the other one in the university area?
So
Jack?
university area, we have Back to the 80s Cafe and more, which is kind of cool. They have different desserts, time warp milkshakes, smooth
Rad
criminal
desserts, they
smoothies,
said.
burgers, sandwiches. They actually have the chili cheese Tetris tots, a Paul Rubin sandwich,
Oh God, that's scary.
Doc Brown burger, or a culture club sandwich, which is pretty cool. So anyway, full bar arcade games, 80s memorabilia, 4755 South Maryland
How
Parkway.
much is culture in general abusing our generation? Like
culture
they are like,
Oh, man,
you're all
man.
parents and you're from the 80s. We're gonna just like literally go to town on this.
Yeah.
Like everything's about my
Oh, yeah.
kids. My daughter walked out of the room the other day to go to school, and I'm like, you're wearing an outfit my like friends wore in 1990
26.
or 1991. I was like, this is strange. Like,
My daughter brought back a slap bracelet the other day.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
For
yeah.
Halloween, I was like,
There,
huh.
even the banana clip, the
Oh, yeah,
poofy
yeah.
thing, whatever it is. I don't even know the name.
Scrunchie. The scrunchie.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Jack.
With the poofy thing.
I know you.
The poofy thing.
Let's just not bring back the ramen noodle hair.
Oh God, yeah. Well, no,
really
the boy perm is back.
Oh boy.
We were at a concert the other day. There were like 8
hilarious.
boys in a row on
Really?
stage, and they all had permed hair.
Oh,
I was like, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
some things
So-
need to be kept in the 80s.
Yeah, let's leave them there. As long as shoulder pads don't make
So
their
then
way back.
also on the west side, Tracks Chicken and Fish. It's kind of cool because me being from Chicago. So
is
it's
Chicago
like it's
place?
based off of a south. It's not actually Trask isn't in Chicago, but it's based off of the South Side Chicago chicken and fish places like JJ Fish, DeCola's on the South Side. There was Lawrence's Fishery, which is crazy because my buddy was just in Chicago and brought me a bottle of the hot sauce from Lawrence's. So it has its specific taste. So if you want, I would definitely recommend go trying it out. I haven't tried it yet, but now that I see it, I'm going.
Yeah, I haven't heard of these chicken and fish places. So, of course, pho or pho, however you want to say it, everyone says it differently. There's another pho restaurant, which I think we're at like 1,362 pho restaurants. But District 7 pho, so it broths for 20 hours to make the soup, which is insane. This one is in the Northwest, definitely worth checking out. Another one, but honestly, I think we literally have 1,000 of them.
Yes.
But they're all good.
They're all good.
Like Korean food, Japanese food, Chinese food, Thai here is just incredible. I think West Coast we're a little spoiled with all Asian forms of food. Oh, there's another. What was that sushi place I took you to that one day? We need to add that next week. We'll talk to you guys next week.
I was going to say, we're going to ask for some
Next near your house.
recommendations.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
On some of this, yeah.
So a couple of our clients recently rented a couple properties, and they're starting a show tonight. So it opens tonight, November 4th, America's Got Talent Las Vegas Live. We helped a few of the stars actually find homes in Vegas, and it's a pretty ridiculously good lineup. Who are you looking out for on this one, Jack?
Dustin Tavella.
Yeah, Cody. Cody is incredible.
Cody. Okay.
That's mine. Who's Dustin Tavella?
I don't know. I just saw him up there.
But yeah, awesome group, awesome talent lineup. My kids love AGT. I don't know if yours do. They love it. So we know a lot of these acts, and cool. It's kind of fun to see. So on the other spectrum, residencies.
They're coming back full
but
force.
it just keeps getting bigger.
Yeah,
I think a month ago we were like, oh, a couple amazing residencies. Oh, another few. Now we have 1,000.
How is it that Gwen Stefani looks
started
younger?
this weekend again?
I know.
She looks younger now than she did 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how
does.
much work she's had done at this point,
so
right?
she,
it's natural.
my
It's
gosh.
natural. It's natural.
It's crazy. Look at her.
She works out with the Underdogs workout.
It's unbelievable.
That's why she
Seriously,
said
I looked
she
up there and I
keeps
was
getting
like,
younger.
she looks like she's 18.
keeps getting younger.
So what are we looking for as far as acts?
She's going. She started yesterday through the weekend, and then you got Sting coming up here. Santana always has his deal. Derek Huff, the dancer guy, is at
The dancer guy.
My
Summit
daughters,
show.
I love how you went from Sting to Santana to Derek Huff.
Derek Huff.
Yeah.
my daughters are both going to Derek Cup this weekend.
It's great.
Yeah.
Let me know how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait. Looking forward to it. Anyway, obviously, I'm the one that's not a professional dancer at all on this team. But anyway, we got some really cool people coming up. Some comedians. Don't forget Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw. So,
Anyway.
yeah, he's got a. It's a musical show, right? It's a musical act. Yeah. We talked about this a
Wow.
few weeks ago. We had the same wow reaction. We were like,
Yes.
Terry Bradshaw.
Wow.
Okay.
Shania
Not
Twain.
only does he talk about Sunday football, like
He's also a singing, dancing machine.
Wow.
So lots of new stuff coming up. Of course, you still have Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, all those. Rod Stewart, Barry, of course, Barry Manilow. He's
the
doing
Fanilows are out. The Fanilows are out.
He's doing his Christmas show coming up here shortly at the Westgate. Don't forget. So there's lots of stuff coming up. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It just and we just add more and more every single week. But like we mentioned in the intro, Kiss is canceled. We kind of knew this was coming because he'd already announced that he's selling his house, and then they announced the show's being canceled.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of a dead giveaway to me. But Kiss Zappos Theater residency is canceled, unfortunately.
Well, Rolling Stone came out with this article saying that they had substandard pandemic safety protocols during their U.S. tour.
He seems to me like he would be a mask and glove and just kidding.
One of their guitar techs,
All the
53 years
accoutrements.
old.
Yeah.
One of their guitar techs, 53 years old, caught COVID and died in quarantine
That's right.
in his
Wow.
I do remember that.
hotel room
Yeah.
in Detroit. So, I guess that was obviously sad for the band. And they're just taking a break.
And this just
canceled.
happened too, wasn't it? At the end of October, I think. Yeah, and I think that probably was an impetus for them to kind of wrap it up. Not that they're ever going to wrap it up. It's like Cher, Kiss. Who are the ones that just never end?
The Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones. Like,
It's crazy.
my dad is 79 years old. I cannot imagine
He'd
my
still
dad.
be the youngest one in the band.
Yeah.
How old is Madonna now? How old is Madonna now?
She's
Oh,
gonna be in her
Madonna.
60s.
Yeah, she's going to be up there.
60s.
Crazy. So either way, make sure if you want any of our texts at all, text VIP to 702-553-1955. Text VIP to 702-553-1955.
If you want the market update, text market to the same number, 702-553-1955, directly to your phone.
And for food and drink specials, as we create more and more of these relationships, text 702-553.
1955. Text Dine. Dine.
What'd I
Not
say?
just, you just said text it.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Text Dine to 702-553-1955. Hey, Underdogs, Beck, Bode, we
Thank
will
you, guys.
let everybody know about all the links.
Thank you.
Ashley and Justin, so nice to have you. Amazing to watch your progression here in Vegas. And your story is ridiculous. I think
inspirational.
You guys should write a book, because I know like in 2 years when you're killing it, even more so. I know there's going to be an amazing, happy, not ending, but new beginning again, because what you guys have built is amazing. And meeting all your athletes, I can see why you had such a tight family at the gym, because all of them have been ridiculously nice. Like Carrie,
Bethany, I think.
I didn't meet Bethany actually.
Allie
Scuds.
Okay.
Oh my God. Like just
great.
such nice people. But usually that comes from the top, and I'm sure you guys help build a lot of that culture, and they're just nice people. They gravitate to you guys. But thank you so
you guys.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you,
us.
Jack, of course.
Thank you, Brendan.
And every week, of course, we'll see you guys. Make sure you support. We'll send you guys all the links, and we'll see you next week. Have a good
Take
one.
care.